Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to SM Enlightenment Radio or TV, or listening to Two Healthy Chicks podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ayana.
And we are two healthy chicks providing simple life hacks on this journey to healthy living. So, Ayana, how are you tonight?
Well, Jenny, I'm a little bit frazzled, but it's all going to be good. You know, this is one of those times that I'm very grateful that most of it is an audio show. But, you know, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, on SM Enlightenment TV, you know, I'm a little, just got in from a 10-hour drive like 25 minutes ago. So there's that.
That's
Yay,
right.
traffic.
Welcome summer.
Yes, in construction, because, you know, nothing like accidents on top of construction. So there's that.
Oh, but the real question is, how many different license plates did you see? That's the game we play when we travel.
Oh, see, I wasn't clued into that. I would say I probably saw at least a bajillion. I think I'm pretty sure that's a number.
Oh no, girl, you got to keep track. Like we print out a map of the United States. Every kid gets one, and they color in each state that we see. So that's your little life hack, you know, for tonight. There you go.
Yeah, I will learn on my way back home. I will definitely do that.
There you go. All right.
So, Jenny, what's in your mug?
So I have, I actually am doing a glass tonight, not the mug, but I am doing my pink lemonade inner calm. Love this.
Very nice. Very nice.
The evening and the day, have the evening with that. So delightful. So awesome.
Yeah. I probably could have used some intercom, but, you know, I barely had time to actually sit down in front of this camera. So there's that, which is why I am mugless tonight. So, yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm just happy that I made it in time, and we are here for our audience. Yay.
Yes, and we have. Yes, well, I am doing awesome. I am excited for tonight because we have an awesome topic. We are talking about wellness through finding your purpose. And I think this is such a great underlying thing that is one of those topics that kind of sets the tone for a lot of other wellness and health in your life. Because if you don't have that purpose, it's something that drives you, right? So I'm excited. So we are going to be talking about why you need a purpose, and what that looks like in daily life and in business, and how you can achieve it. So that is so awesome. And drum roll, please. We have a guest tonight. We have a guest. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Very nice. Very nice.
Was that, I thought that was, you know, as little or as much as I could possibly do.
That was much better than a drum roll that I could do. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited. So LAURIE Gibson is our guest tonight. And LAURIE has spent 25 plus years in leading corporate teams as a sales coach and trainer. And in 2020, LAURIE began researching and practicing wellness while conducting workshops for schools and business owners. LAURIE believes that health not only includes the mind, body, and spirit, but it contains solid relationships and purpose as well. LAURIE opened her business in January 2021 as a certified business coach and creator of Realize and Be programs. LAURIE's programs help business professionals and sales managers reach significant goals. The customized program includes purpose, sales goals, team synergy, or wellness. LAURIE is unique as her programs include coaching and training. The programs have elements of action steps, mindset, and tracking. So LAURIE offers both an individual and group coaching. So please welcome LAURIE Gibson.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
It's so good to be here.
Yay, welcome.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
This is so cool. I'm really excited for our conversation tonight because it's so neat, because when I first met you, you were exploring what you were going to do with your business, and it was very health and wellness oriented, and then has that underlying current to helping people find their purpose. So I'm really excited for this conversation that we're going to have tonight.
Yeah, I am too, Jenny. I mean, when I first met you, it's correct. I mean, I was thinking all about what really is wellness. And as I researched, I found that at first I thought it was a regular, you know, figure out your diet, figure out your exercise, you know, calm down a little bit. And
All things we've talked about.
yeah, and then as I researched, it really also included healthy relationships and really having a purpose, not only in life, but um, a major purpose, but a daily purpose.
Yeah.
And I just gravitated towards that and started with the wellness, and now I'm really, really into the purpose.
That's very, very cool. So I love that. So we are going to, as helping our guests or our audience be able to kind of walk through this too. So let's start with why you need a purpose. Like, why is that important?
Well, you actually need a purpose so you feel like you have a sense of contribution, a sense of a community. You also, it actually adds meaning to your life in every
Mm,
single thing you do.
yeah.
It helps you focus.
And it's something that it makes me think of. It makes me think of people that work hard all their life and retire, and then they're like, if they're not retiring to something to go do something and stay active, like they've been active every day of their life, doing stuff, getting up, having them. I think you don't realize how much work helps give that purpose for your life. That would then, when you don't have it, it's like, oh, what am I doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's actually a little of both of that. We are actually taught go to school, then work hard, then retire, have a great, life, break your hip. No, I, we're, we're
All the
actually
things in life.
no. I mean, we go through all those motions, and all of a sudden, women in 40s, and even men now, 40s and 50s, you wake up and you're like, is this all there is? I mean, I
Mhm.
really need some kind of, purpose and meaning. And I actually had the same thing happen to me where I was in corporate all my life. I loved my roles, I loved my jobs. And then all of a sudden, I had the opportunity to um, just rethink that.
Hmm.
And it really, I went through a lot of these steps, and that's how I build a lot of my programs based on what I actually did.
So, are you finding with your clients that it or people that you end up talking to about this topic that is it more kind of people that have been living their life doing this particular job and then like, wait a minute, they're finally stopping and asking, why am I doing this? What do I really enjoy doing? Is that kind of typically the person that you end up working with, or kind of what you see?
Well, it is that. I actually started out working, I really was focusing on women, and suddenly there's men I'm working with that have that. Uh, I also am finding people that want to reach their sales goals. And what actually ends up happening is they're thinking, that is my purpose to reach this goal. And I'm teaching them that along with my training. And then recently I had a woman who was balancing like 3 jobs, and her mom and a bunch of, and she wanted to streamline that and really figure out, really, I'm good at everything. What was I born to actually really do? Because
Hmm.
every single one of us were born with some sweet spots that we don't take the time to sit down and look at those sweet spots and what we're good at, and with the sweet spots that make us flow and
Yeah.
shine.
It's funny that you mention the sales goals because as we were talking, I know we're talking like the bigger purpose, but I was thinking about, the smaller whys and how those make up the larger purpose. So thinking, for instance, with that example of sales goals, just having the smaller goal, so to speak, and having a purpose for the little things that you do in your everyday life can actually add to that why, because that's something that we kind of work with our clients,
Mhm.
and we'll get to that later in the show. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I think of the smaller whys.
Yes, and that's an excellent point, Ayana. Because once you figure out the big goal, say you had the big goal of the sales goal, you have to be able to take care of yourself in the wellness practices. So, for
Mhm.
example, if I wanted to achieve a certain amount of money, save money, that I had to make that sales goal because my sales manager, or for my business, and to s- go beyond staying afloat, be super successful. I would have to make sure that I have some practices in the morning where I'm doing some planning, some meditation around, I know I want this goal, and some meditation around it, and then some journaling around it. And then I have to, for energy, have to eat right and take the right supplements, eat the right foods that aren't toxins, and that all contributes to it. And through that, you're correct. I'm keeping my healthy goals of not being, 20 pounds overweight, which I used to be, and my energy and I love seeing people, whereas before you're kind of lethargic going through the motions.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say eating well and removing toxins. I wonder where one may have heard of something like that.
I have no idea. Oh my
Not in
goodness.
any of our many, many,
No.
many past
No, I
episodes.
bet I couldn't find any past episodes that we talked about that. Fascinating. Funny how it all works together, right? And
It
It
really
always
does.
seems to come full
yes,
circle.
yes, it
Hmm.
does. And I want to go back to like just that whole concept of what you were just saying with that whole example of the bigger picture, like when you have that bigger picture, that vision, that purpose, and then it's kind of like having any goal that you set, like having the end in mind and then working backwards and then breaking it down, like, okay, what are the smaller tasks that I need to do to make that happen? And then that gives purpose to those smaller tasks because then it's all building up to the big goal. And I'm thinking of it, you can apply that to anything in life. And it just like we've been talking about sales and stuff, but I'm also thinking in parenting, like as a parent, like my goal is to raise healthy, happy, wonderful citizens who love God and help other people and contribute to this world. And what does that include? That includes all the mundane things like doing the laundry and planning the schedule and feeding them and like all these things that like you can so easily lose track of your purpose in that, like, oh, another meal to make. Because no, I've never said that.
Those are
You're
quite
close to
lofty
one.
parenting goals. I think my goal is just to keep mine alive sometimes, but
Well, there
I
are
kid.
days. Like I'm talking overall goal. Okay, come on, we're talking the big picture purpose here.
Like you're not bleeding and you're still breathing. Awesome. When I did that.
There are those days for sure.
Yeah, your purpose can be like you can figure out that one of my purposes is to be a really good mom and a really good partner and a really good friend,
Mhm.
and to schedule those into my life. And I actually wake up in the morning. I know guys are gonna think, oh God, she's flipped, but I actually wake up in the morning and I say, what can I do for my health today? What can I do for my relationships today? And what can I do for my purpose? And I have those planned around that. If things get in the way of that, they do. It's just that that's easier to prioritize it. And you might say at the end of the day, "Oh, I haven't even said hi to my husband. I better go say hi," because I'm working too hard. Yeah, I'm mindful of it. It's the first thing is awareness on all of these.
Mm, yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
breaks it down into very attainable goals. It's like a different way. We don't think you're flipped at all because we have
No.
our morning routines that
Mhm.
as well. But it is a bite-sized way of looking at your day, and that's a different way than we've mentioned on our show before. So that's very unique. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
And I think because it makes me think of like the affirmations that we have talked
Mm-hmm.
about and it puts like a different, like you said,
Spin.
like a different spin on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
just a different way to process that and like just kind of wraps it up with what is the purpose, what are the categories, what are the areas. And it's kind of also like what you just said, Laurie, about those different areas of your life. It's almost like the different hats that I wear. It's kind of like, what do I represent? What do I do? And then what's that purpose behind it?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you need to also incorporate your core values too. And a lot of us really don't really, we think we know our core values, but then when you have time to actually go and talk about those core values, then you can also, when you have priorities and things happen to you, you can say, is this aligned with my purpose and does it align with my core values?
I think that's a really great point for also like helping decide any activities or things that you're offered or, decisions that you have to make. That was definitely an eye-opening thing for me quite a few years ago now, but I was the person that just said yes to everything. Came across my path, I'll do it. Jenny will do it. Ask her, and it wasn't until like, learning about boundaries, but also not just boundaries, but also uh, your best yes. Like I read a book called Your Best Yes, and like knowing what is my purpose, what are my desires and goals in life, what am I gifted with? And then when all these things that come across your path might be great, but are they really the best thing for you, for fulfilling your purpose and the abilities and gifts that you have been given? So I think it's that differentiation, but you can't know what the best thing to say yes to is if you really don't know what those things are for you, what your purpose is, what your gifts and abilities are.
Yes, yes.
That reminds me of a mantra that has come up on more than one occasion over the past few weeks. Finding your power in the no. So the things that you're saying no to, like, no, that doesn't fit what it is that I'm working towards, or no, that doesn't fit my schedule. Like it can be as basic as I don't have time for that today, or I don't have time for that this week, or I can't take on that project. But you can find your personal power in the no. It doesn't always have to be yes, 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 I can do, I can do. No is, if not more powerful than the yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I recently heard somebody say, "Well, how do I say no? I've never said no before." And this woman, she was so confident. She said, "You just say no. No is a sentence. No is a sentence."
Yes.
No, period. With a
Yes.
T.
With a
Yes.
T. Yes.
With a T.
Maybe that's like the lesson to learn from here. Like, just say no. No with a T. Period. Not no with a T. Whatever. You heard what I said. So what, Laurie, what are your core values? What do you use to help you make decisions and know when to say no and when to say yes?
So my core values are zest for life. Like, so I have to have a zest for life. I have to have hope. There has to be hope in the situation. If the client's hopeless, you don't want to really work with them, right?
Mhm.
um, and love of learning, love of learning. And then I also have my fourth and fifth one are gratitude and social intelligence. So connecting, I have to have something that connects social intelligence to people, and I can sense, where we're at and that kind of thing. So.
Wow.
There was something that you said that was really intriguing. You said, if someone is just hopeless, you kind of just don't want to work with them. And I find that to be, again, very powerful because I think sometimes, especially as women, we have, no matter what the situation is, whether it's with family or in our career, we have like this innate desire to try to help and fix, so to speak, and problem solve. And it's like, oh, you're hopeless. Let me help you find your hope. No, it's okay to say, I can't take that on. That's okay. And I think that goes back to finding power in the no. I love that.
Yes, definitely finding power in the no. Yeah.
And I think that's a powerful thing to really grasp, though. And I think that takes experiences in your life and possibly takes time. And because I found that even in the beginning of my business, just I wanted to help everybody and just I wanted it more
Mhm.
badly than other people did. And
I
like,
know that
I can't
feeling.
make you eat better. Like, I can't make you, you know, make this choice. Like I can lead you to it, I can share the information, I can encourage you, but ultimately if you don't want it more than I want it for you, It's not going to happen.
Absolutely. That was a huge lesson for me as well in the very beginning of my business. Because, you just want to open people's eyes. Like, but if you could just give it another shot, just push through till you get to the point where it becomes a routine, then you'll see how beneficial this is. No, if they don't want it to begin with, you can lead a horse to water. It is horse, right? Mule, horse, some animal to water.
Well, it's actually funny because a lot of this work has to do with mindset, and you have to see the mindset of the people. And if they don't have the right mindset, they're not going to change. It's even for my business as well. If you want to have a purpose and enjoy life and have energy, you have to have a mindset that you really want to change things and not be negative and ruin your health in that fashion.
And I think it's interesting too, because I think that's when a lot of things come in, no matter what it is out there. People say, oh, well, that doesn't work, or that doesn't work, XYZ, like fill in the blank, anything, this diet, that program, this, ability to do better at my job, like whatever. But I agree, Laurie, like it comes back to your desire for it, your mindset around it. Do you really want it? Are you willing to do what it takes to get that? Well, if you have that attitude, then you just need to be paired up with the right coach or the right team or the right opportunity, whatever it is, and then you will be successful. But that is such a key part in that. Like, if people are like, well, I don't know what my purpose is. Like maybe you've never thought about it before, but maybe you also haven't had the desire to know, or to, the processing to think through it either.
Yeah. And I actually have told people, like, when's, a no, like I have a better coach for you. I also, when people are really uncertain, and you guys could probably use this too, I say to them, if they say it doesn't work, I've tried these, I've tried all of these supplements, I've tried all of these diets, nothing works for me, I'm, hopeless. What you could what you could say is, what if it did?
Yeah.
What if? Those two words, what if? And it just changes the sentence. Don't just answer the sentence for me. What if?
Right.
Well, and that's so true, because that's something I say to my kids quite a lot. Like, if you put as much effort, maybe not those exact words, but maybe I will start changing and they'll really like roll their eyes at me. But like, if I can, like if you put as much effort into thinking about the positive things that could happen out of this situation as you are about the negative things that could happen in this situation, imagine where we would be. Like, I know, right? Like, crazy, so crazy. That's awesome. So we have covered why we need a purpose, and actually we morphed into what having a purpose looks like in your daily life and business. So we actually were talking through that in the conversation, and I think this is a great place to pause for our break, and then we're going to come back. We have more thoughts and things to add on to that, and then we are going to go into our third point about how you can achieve finding your purpose. So thank you for joining us on SM Enlightenment Radio and TV and Two Healthy Chicks podcast. And we will be back with our second segment. See you soon.
And thanks again for tuning in to SM Enlightenment Radio or TV or the Two Healthy Chicks podcast. I'm Ayana.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Two Healthy Chicks. Today we are talking with Laurie Gibson about finding your purpose. And now we're going to focus on the how part and just give you like some life hacks, because that's what we do, right?
That's right.
Life hacks, you got that whole thing. So yes, some quick tips about how you can go about discovering your own purpose.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me back from break. So as far as ensuring that you can find your purpose, is you have to make sure that you're definitely healthy and you combined the mind, body, and skin, like we talked earlier. or not skin, mind, body, soul. I'm so skin with you
You've
two.
you've
I'm
been
looking
hanging
at
out with us so much. There you go.
yeah,
I love it. See, it's
I'm
seeping
looking
into
at your
your brain.
beautiful skin, and both of you.
You're rubbing off. You're infiltrating the world.
Awesome.
What are we going to do today? Take over the world.
So you have to actually make yourself a priority. I mean, get up before everybody else, have a ritual, and journal about it. Really journal about it and think about really what can I give back. So for myself, for example, I knew that I could help people achieve more success and actually in their business or their personal life. So I searched for what to start with, and I started with wellness and realizing that wellness, there's a whole thing out there that people are like yourselves concentrating on skin and wellness. And I knew that that was definitely the foundation. So anybody, before you even start the purpose, you really need to take care of yourself in those facets. And go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was saying so good. And I think that too, like even just the little thing that you added in there, just part of making yourself a priority, the whole getting up and starting your day. And that's a hard thing for me to hear and think about because I love sleeping in. But I have to say those days, especially, with summer and getting up before the kids and, setting my priorities, setting my schedule and the things that I do is super helpful in that. So, and just part of that routine too is a big benefit.
Yeah, and what I journal about is I picture myself in that goal. So myself as having my purpose is I've achieved that goal. I've helped lots of people in groups at different events. Also have helped people individually, something that they never thought they could do. I've helped them, and I visualize how I feel confident. I feel happy. I feel like I have made a difference in people's lives. And because I am wellness looking is what I want to be. I picture myself and visualize myself walking into those places. And then from there, I go into a 10-minute meditation where I think about those things and visualize that purpose and how I'm going to achieve that. And as soon as the meditation is over with, I have a couple additional points. And they're not, I know we talked about little points to get to that big point, but they could be crazy thoughts. Like me being on this podcast to me is crazy thought that I never thought I would be on a podcast with my two famous healthy chicks, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
I
right.
like that adjective.
Yes. So I mean, so that was something that I always wanted to do a podcast, but and what happened was it manifested into me being here. So that was a practice that I had. And then some kind of movement. I'm not saying run 10 miles. I'm saying maybe some push-ups, maybe a 10-minute walk, maybe some weight training, some kind of movement with your body always helps.
Yeah.
So would you say, because we're talking a lot about self-care, and we definitely have touched on this in many, many episodes, not just our self-care episode, but would you say that focusing on yourself first, whether that is, wellness or physical self-care, a bath, whatever it is that you require for yourself, would you say that would address the mindset piece of it that we touched on in the first segment, where if you have focused on yourself and you're in a better place, so to speak, regarding wellness, then you can focus more and maybe your purpose, your why can become more clear?
Yes, you have to have a foundation with your wellness first before you can get into that. And as far as like the mindset, it's even a step further. The first step is the actual practices of still being quiet, finding what I call white space, where there's no, like it's just nice and nice, that kind of noise, and you're all by yourself. You need that space. That's the first step. The second, that you have to have that foundation. So that's the first step, is the wellness of that part. The part next thing is you need to figure out what your aiming point is. Where are you going? I mean, you have to have, where are you actually going? You can't just start driving like how you did today to Cleveland. Where am I going? You knew you were going to get to Cleveland, right?
Yeah, just a
So,
matter of how.
yeah, and
And
and,
what?
and this is what actually this practice does of how I do the. I'm so glad you said that. You are right in there with me. The first thing is the aiming point, and once you have that aiming point, the action steps come next. So you figured out,
Mhm.
I needed a restaurant, whatever, and on the way I needed gas. That just kind of happens. Those were your little goals to get to your big goal. The big goal for me was helping people in the business, and my little goals started happening where how can I get to that? Well, I need to be on a podcast, possibly. I need to join associations. I need to develop better content, or content that I find meaningful. Um, and then my priorities of the day towards that purpose, when I'm in my mode in the morning, is content, networking only. Make sure I have those two things done in a day. That part. You also address the mindset. Okay, so the mindset is the third piece. So the first step is your aiming point, whatever your goal is towards that purpose. Second is all these steps that you come up with. Um, Third, the mindset. What's very interesting is we're always living in our conscious mind, where it's all your senses and, quick actions. I'm going to either do this or not. We're always living in the conscious mind. But us as people, really, who we're born to be is in your imagination. That really should be your reality. That is who you really are. And you don't have a chance to even do that or think about that until you sit still. So, did you ever notice, even like when you sit still in the shower, there your imagination is working, not your conscious mind. And that's how I have a creative idea. So that's where your mind, that piece of the mind is even better once you've had the wellness first, and then that's the third step, and then actually tracking it is your fourth step.
I think we've actually talked about having a notepad in the shower, because I feel like I remember saying that's where all my best ideas happen. So that makes perfect sense. At least now I understand why.
Yeah.
And that totally makes me think of the book, The Ant and the Elephant. I don't know if either of you have read that book. The name of the author is escaping me. But that's exactly what it is. The ant is the representative of the conscious mind, and the elephant is representative of the subconscious mind, and how they work together. And it's a really fascinating read. It's a really fascinating thought process. So I think it's so true when you're still and when you're just kind of, your body's doing stuff, but your mind is wandering and stuff, like that's when you're like, oh, what if this? What if that?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And interesting enough is people, you setting on your goal. I'm going to make this goal, right? And you get halfway there and you stop, and doubt comes into your head, uncertainty comes into your head, and we're like, okay, that wasn't for me. Okay, that's why this isn't working.
Hmm.
I'm not going to do this anymore. And really interesting enough, that's when you're actually growing. When you start thinking that you're not, that's where you're bumping up against, where if you just try to go for the movement, go for more mindful practices, and you'll come up with going over that middle, okay? Because you're going to go up and down, but that middle part, you should never have stopped, and you don't even realize that because you haven't created that space in your life to sit down and think about it.
And that makes me think of another book. Like,
We'll
really,
list
this is
them
not
in
planned.
Facebook,
Like,
don't
it's
worry.
just so funny. Like, but 3 Feet from Gold. I don't know if you've
What was it?
3 Feet from Gold. And it's written by, what's the woman's name that she teamed with the Napoleon Hill group. So that Think and Grow Rich. And then his group that wrote that and has done all kinds of publications and things. Then they got together and wrote 3 Feet from Gold. And it's that same concept of like in the struggle, in the like, and you find like, oh, like whatever, I give up. And then, these miners that were mining, and it turns out they left and they were literally 3 feet from gold. This other group came in and then, 3 feet later, they're, gazillionaires. So it's like that same concept, like when it starts getting hard, it's like, that's the time to really dig in. But it's so easy and so natural to be like, oh, I'm done. This is hard.
Yeah, I can tell you that, when I really was getting so into wellness, and I'm going to teach everybody wellness, and I'm going to have a Jenny as my partner so I can with my skin, and then I can have this partner with my yoga and this partner with my meditation. I'm all over. And then I was like, well, there's got to be more, because in my sales background, I did a lot of relationship and personality. So I have that also in my business of different personalities and how we work well with each other. And I was bumping my head on some of the customers that I was working on, because what they really needed was purpose. And then I just discovered that, threw that out there. You need a better sales goal, and you need to really figure out your boundaries and purpose. And suddenly I have like all these clients coming in now. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I do have a daily practice every morning, and I get my books ready, what I'm going to journal in, and what I'm going to visualize in, and I practice what I teach.
Which is key.
Yeah.
So important.
Yes.
And I think it's been a fascinating thing too, just to think about. I remember when I heard like, oh, there's so many people that are unhappy in their job. They're just, go through the motions, go to do work. And while I had times, I know what you're thinking, Ayada.
I know, I'm not thinking anything. It's a blank slate. Blank.
But the thing is, like, for me, I mean, yes, I'm not in teaching anymore, but I always loved teaching. Like I knew that was my purpose. I knew like helping people and guiding, directing, and teaching people. That is what I was born to do. And so I feel like even though it's taken different roles and different looks of that, that is still at the base of what I desire to do, what I think I do well, what I'm gifted in, and what I enjoy doing. And I feel it's my purpose. And it's just interesting just how many people don't have any clue what their purpose is, or don't choose a career based on what their purpose is. They might choose it on, oh, well, it was the available major, or it was near my parents, or it makes a lot of money,
Yeah.
like, that's not enough to really give you that drive and desire. Yeah. To fulfill you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have very similar drives and goals, which is why we just have the chemistry that we have, Jenny. I mean, duh. But no, seriously, I think you touched on a very valid point, or at least that's what I heard. We're both in education. And for me, the lesson was, I thought my drive, my purpose was to educate children. That I was only half right. So part of it is education as a whole. And then, drilling down on exactly what it looks like to educate has become different for me. Clearly, we won't dive into that because that's a whole nother hour that we don't have in this segment. But you can very well just be in what I'll call the wrong sector of your purpose, so just having that time to be still, just like you said, Laurie, and just taking a moment, whatever that looks like for you, your self-care, again, however you can indulge. And it shouldn't even really be indulging, because it's just taking care of yourself. But when you can get to that place of still, because that's how it worked for me, that's when I realized, Yes, so it is education, just not the way I expected that it would be. So I think that's very important. Many of us could be on to something. We just have to
Yes.
tweak it a little bit.
Yeah. So you guys are halfway there, all right? So, but another thing is like when you get to that purpose, once you achieve that, it can evolve. So
Right.
it will be other things. So there might be some time where you are training 10 people to be, all little Ianas, right? You don't know that, but you're not gonna if you don't sit down and
Right.
really think, okay, what's the next step for my purpose? It won't happen.
Yeah.
Because I thought that I only wanted to deal with business owners, and through my thinking, I'm like, and my meditating and my realizing my purpose, I found that I now want to deal with business owners like yourselves and back to financial business professionals and the leaders because that's who I dealt with in the past. But just by thinking about it,
Yeah.
and I dealt with the schools, which I want to continue to help, just not be a major focus.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
And I love that. I just think it's just such a full circle moment because I love that purpose is the topic that we're talking about with you, and your life and your journey of this to find your purpose is the perfect example of everything that we've been talking about. And I hope that everyone has been listening to your personal story that you've woven so beautifully through this whole conversation, because it like I just think about you and your journey through this, and it is the quintessential example of finding your purpose. And I think if there's anyone out there that can help people do that, it is you, because you have lived that and you've gone through that, and like you said, you are doing what you teach your clients to do. And I think that's so powerful, and so you have such a strong personal story to show them and say, I went through this. I thought this is what I was meant to do. And then no, it was really this. And so I think that's amazing. I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. I think you guys are too. Yes.
Mhm.
And I actually took a step back last year, and I thought my purpose was real estate. What was I thinking? I was thinking helping people, get their dream purpose house. No, I don't want to
That
teach
is
it.
a
I know.
stark contrast.
Yeah, so now I have like a real estate license that I, paid millions of dollars for.
Don't worry, I thought mine was insurance very recently, so
Well,
Yeah.
you
We all
could
go
help.
through it.
Actually, all of us are in education. Maybe we can educate them, insurance people, because I will be dealing with a lot of insurance professionals,
Mhm.
make them more fun with their purpose.
More
That's
entertaining.
Yes,
perfect.
yes.
So, Lori, how can people get in touch with you if they're like, I want help with finding my purpose, or I am one of those people, I want insurance to be more interesting, whatever the case may be? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, if they want to reach their purpose, reach their sales goal, or help their team all together, I love group coaching as well. They can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm Laurie, Laurie Gibson, Gibson, and you can email me at Laurie Lee Gibson programs, because I have a lot of different programs, at gmail.com.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank you so much, Lori, so much for being on so much. How many times can I say so much? So much
Not
for
enough.
I know. So much. We're so grateful that you are on tonight. And thank you for sharing your personal purpose and how our audience can help to find their purpose. So thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And hi to your audience. And I appreciate the two of you very much. So
Oh,
have a great night.
Thank
you
you. You
too.
too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Ah,
That
awesome.
was
So
really
helpful.
intriguing because, two healthy chicks, we normally talk about things that you put in your body, on your body, whether it's in your mind, in your gut. But that is a very relatable topic, and I'm glad that we dived. I don't know
Just
what's with
go
me
right the
tonight.
first time.
Like, I'm just
I know either.
10 hours of traffic will do it to you. So it is what it is,
We
people.
took the dive. We dove in.
We did something. We jumped in. How about that? We
Yes,
jumped right
yes.
into that.
There we go.
So that was very helpful. And it was one of those aha moments for me as you were speaking about education and exactly what that looks like for me. So yeah, thank you.
Hey, you see,
Sometimes we treat ourselves.
That's
We are
right.
not just the founders, we are also members.
And we're members of our Facebook group too.
Speaking of, our Facebook group is no longer brand new unless you are just brand new to our podcast, which we welcome you, but you have a lot of catching up to do. We have a Facebook group called Two Healthy Chicks, the number 2, just like our name. It is our VIP group, and we would like for you to accept the mission this week. 2 steps. Tell us if you know your purpose, and please share what that purpose is. And 2, tell us if you want help in discovering your purpose. And no strings attached. We're not selling anything. We just want to know. We're kind of polling our audience, and you never know. You may find inspiration in some of the strangest places. So please, we would love it.
Yes, that's what community is all about. So that's
It
what it's
is.
for. So yeah, join us in there. It's totally awesome.
Our APOD.
Yes, our APOD today is our Feel Fit protein powder, because Laurie mentioned, she talked about fueling our body, right? And to be able to help energize ourselves to be able to go and find our purpose. So we thought it was quite appropriate to talk about the Feel Fit protein powder because it can do that for your body. So with 20 grams of serving of easy to digest vegan protein. It's derived from peas, cranberries, and rice, and it helps to increase energy, supporting muscles along with overall health and well-being. And there is supplemented with 24 essential vitamins and minerals, including methylated forms of vitamin B12 and folate. If you know what that means, then you know that's important. And it's available in chocolate flavor or vanilla, as well as other seasonal and limited edition flavors, as well as coffee is a permanent flavor. So chocolate, vanilla, or coffee. Love that. And I love this too. It is clinically tested and certified to have a low glycemic index, which shows that it has a little effect on the blood sugar levels and does not cause a significant spike in blood sugar when prepared with water. So I think that is a really important thing to note as well. So really good for you. Tastes really good. We have tons of recipe ideas if you need them, but that is our APOD, our Arbonne product of the day.
And very quickly, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So yeah, there's that.
Random
we
fact.
all know
Very
how
nicely done. That was impressive.
Really quickly, Jenny, in 30 seconds, your random fact.
I lived on an orchard at one point when I was growing up. What's your random fact?
No.
No. We only have 30 seconds. We all have to elaborate another time.
The things that I learned, like at first it was Amish country. Now, okay. All right. My random fact is I was not very healthy today. I took a shot just before our show because again,
what was in your mug. You should have just said it in the beginning.
But it wasn't in my mug. It was a shot glass. Come on. I deserved it. 10 hours of traffic and foolishness on the highway. So there's that.
You absolutely did.
Very nicely done in less than a minute. All right.
Yes.
Well, we thank you. We hope that you've, gotten your little nuggets, anything and everything that you needed from our episode today. Thank you so much for joining us on Two Healthy Chicks, whether on SM Enlightenment TV, radio, or the Two Healthy Chicks podcast. My name is Ayana.
My name is Jenny.
And have a great whatever you're having.
Bye.